Hey, I have literally just walked in the door. I've just got back from my morning clients and just got in from doing a workout myself. And I'm bursting to talk to you about what this video is about, okay? So what this is, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the key to fitness, to long-term change, really is making the process as easy and enjoyable as possible. So because I've said to you before, and I've talked about this many a times, about the reason that we set goals in life is because we believe that when we achieve them, we're going to be happier. And so that's why I'm a huge believer in making the process happy, because starting from here, going to here, when you get to here, it doesn't make you any happier. It's the journey along the way. It's seeing change, it's seeing progress, feeling proud of yourself and holding yourself accountable for the change that's the rewarding part of it. So a huge secret which is often missed when people are trying to lose weight and trying to change their bodies in general is missing the point that it's not just about knowing what to do. Because I mean, I've seen this many a times as a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer now for 6 years, I believe, and over that time I've seen it a lot of times where people know what they should be eating and they know what exercise they should be doing, but it doesn't mean that they're doing it. And I'm sure you can resonate with me on this. Just having the tools to do the stuff isn't enough. There's an emotional need that needs to be addressed if you are going to change your routines. And also, when people have put on a fair amount of weight over a long period of time, sometimes it can be 10, 20 years that people have been piling on the pounds without realising it. And then they make a flick decision where they realise, shit, I need to do something about this. This is not healthy, I can't continue this way. I'm a bit heavier than I'd like to be and change needs to be done. A lot of people have that realisation and then they think that they can change everything around in 6 months like that, but it doesn't quite work that way. It's long-term change, guys. So if it's taken you 10 years of bad habits to get you into the position you're in, it's going to take a little while to untangle them. Not necessarily 10 years, but it's going to take a bit of time. So the key really is, don't worry, I will get to the point eventually. I am still slightly buzzing off pre-workout. So anyway, yeah, what I was saying was, to get to the point is, to the point where you want to be, to make sustainable progress and change in your life, you need to make your rituals solid, basically. And what I mean by that is we're all thrown into situations from time to time, often at the weekends or on holidays, where we're completely out of our control zone, if you like. If we go to a party where everyone's drinking and everyone's eating like picky food, like cocktails, sausages and all that kind of stuff, oftentimes it's really hard to keep healthy choices in mind. So sometimes we're going to fall off the wagon, and that's okay, because that's part of life. That's part of enjoying it. What's important is that after that period, you come back to a solid routine where you know where you're at. So I always like to set this up with my clients that their Monday to Friday rituals of eating are almost perfect, okay? And that's not to say that you can't go to the cinema and have popcorn in the week. That's not to say that you can't have a takeaway if you want in the middle of the week, if you feel like you deserve it or you really fancy it. The key is not restricting yourself too much, but just being able to go. So say you have a really heavy weekend where you drink far too much alcohol, you go out for dinner more than once, you may have had nibbles before you've been out for dinner with friends, or I'm sure you've got an idea in mind of a weekend where you've indulged slightly too much. Coming back to your Monday routine, the key is waking up on Monday and just knowing straight away, I'm going to have this for breakfast, I'm going to have that for lunch, and I'm going to have that for dinner, and not having to think because it's so deeply ingrained in you. That is the key. So I want to show you around my kitchen today. Look at my beautiful fridge. I really need to replace that. I only moved in here a few weeks ago, and yeah, the fridge is ropey. I definitely need to get a new one of them. Anyway, so the key is knowing what you're going to have in every meal, in terms of each meal should have a number of things in it. So it should have a healthy source of protein, it should have a healthy source of carbohydrate, and a source of fibre, so vegetables or fruit, ideally vegetables. And to keep this really simple, my kitchen is sort of divided into the sections of the food which I have. So in my freezer down there, it's full of chicken, pork, beef and pre-cooked meals. So I like to cook up batches of meals, 1 second, that look like this. So I've got tons and tons of Tupperwares full of that kind of thing. Frozen vegetables and fruit as well down there. I like to have tons of that stocked up. In my fridge, I have more pre-cooked meals. Lots of vegetables, so broccoli, carrots, onions, peppers, lots of apples in there, some avocado and chilies and all that kind of, and then some cheeky sauces. And then in this cupboard over here, I have my beautiful collection of spices, and then there I have my carbs. So I've got potato, sweet potato, rice, pasta, quinoa, and all that fun stuff, okay? So all my carbs are in one section. So vegetables and fruit in the freezer and fridge, meat, so protein source in the freezer and fridge, along with cheese and milk, which is other protein sources. Carb cupboard, so I've got potatoes, pasta, rice, and all that other stuff. And also this cupboard here, where I've got my coffee and green tea and all that stuff, I've got my cereals. So I've got porridge oats, granola, another type of muesli, and all that stuff. So the idea of this is that my cupboards are full of healthy foods, and I don't really like to have too much junk in the house. It's easy for me because I live on my own, so I obviously choose what I put in the cupboards. So if you live with family members that aren't so healthy, then it would be a good idea to separate your foods to a separate compartment and only go to those ones. We're always tempted by crappy food, so if you don't have it in the house, you can't eat it. That's the most simple way of going about things. But I think I've rambled a bit and I've not made my point really all that clear. So what I'm trying to say to you is stock your cupboards with the real necessities. So split down into 3 main compartments, which, as I've said, protein, carbs, and veg and fruit. And healthy fats sort of come along the way with that. So cooking with olive oil and that kind of thing, you'll naturally throw them in, and having nuts every so often. But if you fill your cupboards with the real basics, so lean meats, dairy products, lentils, beans, that type of thing for your protein sources, maybe tofu if you're interested in vegetarian or vegan options, and then for your carbs, like I've said, all about the potatoes, rice, pasta, etc., quinoa, all that stuff. Vegetables, you know what a vegetable is, and fruits, go for whatever you fancy, and just fill your meals with these. Keep it as simple as you can, but make sure that every meal you have has one thing from each of those food groups. And from there you'll be able to get the hang of how much you should be eating and how much you actually need, because you'll know how satiated you are after every meal. And if you stick to these really basic guidelines, that's how you don't fall off the wagon. Just keeping it basic, knowing that you're feeding the body the right nutrients, and the only way to tell how much is right for you is by monitoring progress. So I've talked about this in other videos about calorie counting. It's all well and good to get started on that, but ultimately you need to monitor, because I could tell you to eat 1500 calories a day and you might end up putting on weight at that. So you might need to adjust it. So it's really down to you to figure out how much you personally need. So start trying that. Just fill your cupboards with the right stuff and try and get rid of as much of the bad stuff as you can. And take it one step at a time. Don't expect change overnight. Remember, it's all about enjoying it, okay? So also another thing to throw in there, you saw my spice cupboard. I've got absolutely tons of spices. That's the key to healthy cooking, making it actually taste good by throwing loads of things. So good staples for your for spices are curry powder, chili powder, paprika, cumin, coriander. Start off with those and you can't really go far wrong. So simplicity is the key to sustainability. Okay, so long-term change has to be by following easy steps every single day at a time. I hope that's helpful. Please comment below if you need to ask me any questions with regard to healthy food, with regard to weight loss, with regard to muscle building, whatever you want to ask me. Ask me some philosophical questions if you like. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. If that's helpful, please like and please subscribe. I want to be able to help as many people as I can with this, and I promise in future I won't be buzzing off pre-workout, so maybe I'll be slightly more to the point with what I'm rambling about. I hope that helps, and I will speak to you very soon.